Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Sports by Compion. I am, of course, your host, Stephen Compion, joined here by my powerful co-host, the man who consults in the dark about what we will do with this podcast. Corey Compion is here for us. How you doing, sir?
Fantastic. Ready to do some fantastic podcasting in the football world, because what better world to podcast about than the football world? I would also like to note we have a special guest, Badger.
Badger's
He's
here.
he's also part of this podcast. It
Excellent,
may seem
Badger.
like he's just a sleepy boy, but he's here for this podcasting.
He's also
He's
here
for
to
it.
be a part of it. And that's wonderful because, as Corey mentioned, we are on the football world today. Sports by Compion will be issuing our prestigious awards to NFL players with a shout out, basically, while we work on future awards. But in the meanwhile, a shout out from Sports by Compion, Corey, and that means a lot.
And we definitely didn't just come up with this like 2 days ago. Like, we've been
No.
thinking about this,
All
this,
year, taking
all
notes.
year. We've been taking notes. We've been
Figuring
like,
out-
that was really cool. Is that going to be the award winner?
Right.
Or maybe this other one? Like, we had nominees going into this, like piles of them. We definitely didn't come up with these answers on the spot, like for the
No.
last 10 minutes before this podcast.
Mm-mm.
Listen, us by
Absolutely
Sports by
not.
Compion over here, we do our fucking research, okay?
You know that we're
You
well-researched
know.
teams. All right, you know it.
Badger's
We know
on the
our stuff.
research team.
Absolutely. Badger and Tiger, they're working together
Yeah,
on it.
he definitely doesn't just sleep on the job all the time. He's
No,
on the research
no.
team.
He works really hard. We definitely don't want to audit him because he's so damn cute, but we just take his word for it. And also, I'd like
Right.
to say these awards are in no way biased. This is legit journalistic opinions that you people should take to your heart.
Our word is
you know?
definitely law in these
Law.
regards.
Law, really. Like, the NFL reached out to us and was like, hey, you haven't
Hey, what
done
do
your
you think about
SBCs
these
yet.
categories?
In fact, you've never done an SBC before. And I was like, oh my God, this is true. Corey came to me with this marvelous idea, and here we are. We're going to talk about a couple of different random awards, and you people are going to love it, or you're going to hate it, or you won't care. And that third one,
Hey, here's the thing.
hurts the
If they
most.
hate it, no one will watch it.
True. Or they will. They're a hate watch, which is quite popular these days. It's good times. Anyway, Corey, no more delays. Let's get into this. Our first award is for the guy who's out there, and when you look at him from across the field, playing with him, playing against him, whatever it may be, you're like, that guy's a true dog. The Dog of the Year award, Corey. And this one, once again, not biased at all. Going to our boy, the one and only, just fucking let him bake. Baker Mayfield himself takes the Dog Award.
Look at
And
those
man,
eyes of
Corey,
determination.
Just determined to throw the ball to Mike Evans for another 1,000-yard season, which, who knows? Anyway, there's a lot of reasons this man can be nominated. Over 4,000 yards passing. Bunch of touchdowns. Tied for second in the whole NFL. Just had himself a phenomenal year, Corey. But the reason we gave him this award is that every time the Bucs were down deep and really needed some plays, this guy was ready to do it, man. Sometimes he slung it to the other team, Corey. It happens when you're a dog and you're out there trying to make dog plays. Sometimes you got to run over a middle linebacker and two of his friends to get a first down for your team in the fucking playoff to get him going. And that's why our boy Baker Mayfield is a Dog of the Year. Look at him juking Mr. Rigoberto, I want to say, from the Lions as he scampered for that touchdown against Detroit. The guy can run the ball like a savage, throws the ball into tight windows. He doesn't care, Corey. He's a savage.
Gunslinger.
He's a dog.
Just a gunslinger out here.
Indeed.
I could be wrong about this, but I think the reason why dog is a term is because it's like in a fight, you want someone who's just going to be like biting and clawing, much like a dog would be. And I think that's what Baker Mayfield does every time he's on the field. Just whatever it takes, fighting his way through adversity. You love to see it, just a fucking helmet down into the shield wall type gentleman.
Absolutely. And I forgot to mention stiff arming Joey Bosa, or not Joey, Nick Bosa, the better Bosa, frankly. While holding him off with one hand, he threw the ball to Rashad White for first down. Pretty sweet.
You'd love to see it.
You love to see it. We got to move on, Corey. We got to talk about our next person. Because this next person and this next award is going to a man who, if you're playing defense, Corey, this isn't the guy you want to see coming down through the gap. This is the guy I don't want to find in a gap/dark alley award. And that, Corey, could only go to one man. Mr. Derrick Henry himself. The man who allegedly spends $1 million, if not more, probably millions, on his body maintenance because he likes to scare people as he smashes through the gap. And yeah, it's a real tough time if you happen to be that guy who has to make, oh God! No, show Will.
That really just plays into his category, though.
It does. But anyway, yeah, dude, you don't want to have to tackle Derrick Henry when he's got a head full of steam and he's come through the gap and you do stop him from getting 1 yard. That would suck.
Dude,
I don't want to do it.
He's the type of dude, like, as someone who played football for a while, there's always that one guy where you're like, I just really hope he doesn't run to my side. I hope they don't run, and I hope if they do run that I don't have to be involved. And then there's that moment where you have to be involved, and it sucks.
Yeah,
it always sucks as much or more than you thought it would. It's never like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Like, he will make it suck more than it has to.
Yeah, it's going to be a bummer. And that's what I imagine every time it's like. We've seen plenty of highlights of guys struggling to tackle him. Grown men, Corey, getting paid millions and millions of dollars to tackle people. And they struggle to tackle this man. He is not someone else to see coming through the gap. That's why we gave him his award.
He's a lineman in a running back's body. It's crazy.
It's wild. He's bigger than most defensive ends. Pretty crazy. Not most. Some. Anyway, Corey, our next award is for the football player who is most memeable. Now, it has been ruined a little bit, but who else could we give this to but Captain Mayo Will Levis himself? This is a prestigious award, Corey, because in a game of entertainment, this man is making sure that people are entertained and finding ways to meme about him. And so I think that is a beautiful thing, Corey, and it's why he's a well-deserved of this award.
Definitely. He's out here just, giving the world memes, Corey. Just giving us things that we can talk about after the game, after the game when we're just home sitting on our couches being like, man, that game sucked. I wonder what happened with the Titans, because who was really watching the Titans this year, to be fair? Yeah, the only reason I know what happened with the Titans at all is because of Captain Mayo himself. I learned through memes that he was terrible. They lost a lot, but he looked fucking hilarious while losing. And I love that for him, and I love that for the NFL in general. I don't think he'll be back next year, but I hope somebody else steps up to claim the crown of Meme Lord, because he did that for all of us. He did that on his draft day. He was putting mayo in his coffee. Like, my man, he understood the assignment. He knew he wasn't going to be a starter in this league, but he was like, people are going to know my fucking name. We all know his fucking name, and that's why he deserves this award.
Couldn't agree with you more, Corey. And that's why we did give him this. We're going to show you fine people some of his finer moments from the year. There was, of course, too much data to go through. But
I present you the ball.
Beautiful presentation here by Mr. Levis. And then, of course, his infamous Hams commercial. Goddamn, this man looks good in white. And he loves his mail.
Love that he turned this into a commercial. Because, that's probably he got paid as much for this as he did for his rookie contract.
No, that's not correct. I think it was like a first or second round pick. He probably got paid pretty well. But either way, this was certainly a nice little add-on there. And as you mentioned earlier, his career very much in doubt, which I've been polling for the kid because I want to see him out there.
I want him back, dude.
I want him back. We need Captain Mayo to be good at football, dude.
Dude, think if he was good. And he's so jacked, too. Like, there was stuff with his girlfriend. His girlfriend's hot as shit. Like, his girlfriend became a celebrity because of him. Like, there's just so much cool shit through Captain Mayo.
We need him back, but he needs to play like good quarterbacks so that people will want him back.
Yeah, and if he doesn't like get good at football magically over this offseason, at least start a TikTok or something, bro. Like, don't just fade into obscurity. We need more Captain Mayo in the world.
I agree. Couldn't agree more, Corey. And speaking of things we need more of, we need to watch good plays. We need to watch crazy shit. That's why people tune into the NFL for wild plays, for best moments. Corey, are you there? Oh, you are.
I'm here.
I thought you were frozen because you were so perplexed and focused there. But anyway, yes.
I was
We
reading the
love-
list. I was like, shit, did I write this wrong?
We love the big moments. And that is, once again, us not being biased at all, which we never are.
Never.
But the person who got the biggest moment of the year was, of course, our very own Mike Evans, as he once again got 1,000 yards to tie Jerry Rice at the infamous 11 seasons in a row, Corey. Quite impressive. And we will even be showing his video, Corey. That's what we'll
I
be
tried to
doing.
explain this to the girl I was talking to at the time, how epic this was. She didn't get it. And that, boys, that's why football's not for everyone.
That's true. And one more look at our boy, Captain Bale.
Look at the majestic hair. You'd love to see it.
He's beautiful. Shout out to the Highlight Zone for letting us watch this video via your channel. You guys are great.
We love you,
And,
Highlight
here we go.
Zone.
Bam, there it is. Boom. Oh, and that's 1,000 yards, Corey. That's 1,000 yards. And I think part of what makes this moment so special is just the reaction from his teammates. Look at this. The whole team's
everyone
in on this. Everyone's here. This is historic. This is a great moment in NFL history, and they get to be a part of it. It's huge. And then he gets a big hug from Lamont David on the sideline. Guy who's been there with him since the very beginning. Very cool. Here it is. Look at that. Oh, yeah, he does love to see it. Corey tears a grown man up is what it does.
It is. It was my favorite play of the season. Like, the Cowboys, we were out early. I was kind of just coasting, just kind of like, yeah, cool. Maybe this team will do something cool. Maybe that team will do something cool. Like, at that point, you kind of start rooting for players. And Mike Evans is a easy dude to root for. Very glad he got to keep his streak alive. Let's hope that he gets one more. One more is just that he can set the record. Like, he's tied now, right? So if he does it one more time, then he sets the NFL record. And I want. That's what I want for my boy. That's
what I want.
What we all want for our boy Mike Evans.
And then if you don't, you're a heretic.
Heretic, and we'll burn you at the stake.
In fact, make sure you comment down below and try to tell us about how Mike isn't a goat. It'll be sad for you. Anyway, well, that was a beautiful award, Corey. Really, really beautiful stuff. I like to think that, you know, it's amazing that we can have like a show like this and just be such good journalists. And not be like biased at all with it.
Not biased at all. No, listen,
our
we definitely
opinions
weren't both just thinking about Mike Evans because we like Mike Evans. That's
No.
not how this works.
It was the best moment. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, we weren't thinking of like the big stiff arms Derrick Henry had. We weren't thinking of
No.
like the pick six in the Super Bowl by a white corner for the first time since like, you know, the 2002. We weren't thinking of any of that stuff. Like,
no. Definitely weren't thinking about Lamar
No
Jackson
bias here.
faking out a couple of linemen who actually we're going to talk about one of them in a moment here. But yeah, Lamar Jackson faking out a bunch of linemen and throwing a touchdown in the back of the end zone, or many of the other crazy shit him or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes did. We were completely unbiased in this, guys, and it was really, really tough decision.
tough decision.
We had to do it. Well, our next award, Corey, is going to go to the person on the team who just doesn't get put up in the elite conversation sometimes, or just lacks some love in general, or people don't see the beauty because of all the fire around it. And that person this year, for the underappreciated, underloved award, is going to go to none other than Mr. Trey Hendrickson. This is a man who started off for a terrible organization in the New Orleans Saints, but he still found success there and got a lot of sacks. The Cincinnati Bengals contracted him a couple years ago. He's been quite excellent for them. And I think people are shocked to know that he had 17 sacks last year, because the Cincinnati defense was terrible. They mentioned a fire going on around him. So I think he got underappreciated. And yes, he did get stiff armed by Lamar Jackson, or faked out in that pretty crazy highlight play of him.
Did he lead the league, or was he just near the top? Because I know at one point he was leading the league.
No, I think he ended up. Yeah, I think he ended up with the lead.
So, fun. The best thing about the Bengals is they're just always going to be the Bengals. Like, they had the sack leader, they had the Triple Crown winner of a receiver, they had Joe Burrow, which I don't know what exactly his accolades were, where he stacks up against other quarterbacks, but just a fucking dominant dude. You have all these amazing players, and then I guess just like random hobos off the street around them that they didn't make the playoffs. Like, you have three of the best in like three of the most important categories, and then you still don't make the playoffs. Like, that is just magical that you can do it. And it's almost like when the Colts didn't make the playoffs and they had like 9 Pro Bowlers. It's just really fun things like that that just makes the NFL such a great sport, dude. Such a great
That's
league to
true.
watch, where they're just
Yeah.
one dominant player does not fucking matter if the other 21 guys on the team, or in this case, the other 19
And
guys on the team, aren't also elite.
yeah. It's a problem, Corey. It really is. The next award, speaking of disappointment, speaking of not getting support from your teammates that could push you over the edge, but also having the expectation. I feel like to be really, really disappointed in something, you gotta have expectations for it first, right? You gotta feel like this could possibly happen. And when Aaron Rodgers was traded to the New York Jets, or signed there, I believe, whatever it was,
I think it was a
people
trade.
had expectations. They're like, oh my God, the New York Jets are finally not going to suck. This is a maze pot. And he was like coming on McAfee. He's like, we got this, Jets. Wah! And New York was like, yeah. And then he fucking broke his ACL. Literally like a handful of plays in, the dude breaks his ACL. Out for the year. Really tough. Really sad. Zach Wilson's still not the answer. Surprising. And then we were like, that was all bullshit. We're back. New year, new us.
Rallied.
And then, the disappointment of the year, Mr. Aaron Rodgers himself. And I like the guy, so this is hard for us here at Sports by Compian. He's the biggest disappointment. I don't think there's any two players who are close. I think when you come in to basically bring a team a Super Bowl and then you just are injured and then suck and then now dismissed from the Jets. I don't think it went well. I think it's a disappointment, even, Corey.
The question is, does he fulfill the prophecy and go to the Vikings?
That would be pretty hilarious.
If he followed in the footsteps of his predecessor, and then it sets the path for Jordan Love in the future.
Which may be sooner than later. Who knows? Poor Jordan.
It would be fun to see. I personally am rooting for it. I don't think it'll happen just because they have an abundance of quarterbacks over there. They really don't need them, but I think it would be amazing.
Yeah, they do have so many quarterbacks with the Vikings.
Dude, they're
really
drowning in quarterbacks. They don't need Aaron, but it'd be so good.
Aaron. It would be pretty funny for us, for sure.
That he could be the meme of 2025 into 2026.
Could be him. So there you go, Aaron. Something for you to strive for, to potentially
Right.
be the meme.
Get
And
back into the media, bro. We know you want us to talk about you because we're media now, dude. In case you were wondering.
Oh yeah, we're a big deal, dude.
Dude, we've been media for a while now.
We
like
have.
Since yesterday, we've been media.
Well, no, hold on. This is like year 4, dude. Like we are legit. I think. Yeah, we're coming up on year 4 or something. Checks out. We've been covering like the XFL since it was like a thing. So like we've been doing this stuff, you know. We've been out here, which we'll probably put together an award ceremony for XFL.
Dude, let's do it. Why not? That's
fire. We gotta like watch it though. We'll combine them with WR.
Dude, you know what? If it's got to be on some kind of TV, they got to have some package to watch it, right? I'll fucking watch football. I don't care.
Yeah, I will too. We should figure that out.
That'd be great. Right.
We're gonna look into that. Give you guys maybe some good information, not just the absolute Vegas information we can.
Maybe we'll actually watch the games. Wow, crazy.
Anyway, Corey, it's time to talk about the rookie class. Time to talk about the one who exceeded them all, the one who was better, the one who wasn't mainstream. Because there's an obvious answer to this, but that's boring. It's not how we roll here on Sports by Compian. So instead, we're gonna pick our white wide receiver, Mr. Ladd McConkey himself. Corey. The rookie of the year. Oh my God, look at him out running Chiefs. This is awesome. Yeah.
There's a dude out there. It hasn't loaded yet, for me at least. Maybe it's loaded for the fans at home. But just it's fun to see just a dude come in. Oh, there we go. A dude that like I'd never paid super close attention to the draft, but just a dude that emerges during the year and is like, oh yeah, this is a guy that you should be paying attention to. Like he just beat the shit out of this team. Oh look, now he beat the shit out of this team, and like, oh, he's kind of like the guy over there now, in a team that just really didn't have a lot of receivers that could actually catch the ball when the ball was thrown their way. He really made a big step, fucking made a name for himself, and really did some stuff, which I appreciate about him.
Yeah, he had a hell of a playoff game against the Houston Texans. He was kind of like the only Charger who was like, "Yeah, no, let's try to win this, guys.
I want to play football. Football's good. I like that.
Let's not just be absolutely insane out here." He was trying his little damnedest. It wasn't quite enough, Corey.
Fun size gentleman, but small body, big heart.
Big heart, small body. Maybe if what's his name, Quentin can figure it out over there, they'll have a true 1-2
dude,
punch.
I think that guy's gonna wash out. Like, I think he's like runner-up for biggest disappointment.
Yeah. He's
Which
tough.
maybe
he
year one.
He had a couple big games, but he also had some terrible ones.
He just forgets the whole catching the ball part.
Yeah, this is like year 2 for him.
Yeah. So like maybe last year his biggest disappointment. This year is kind of like, oh no, this is just confirmation.
Yeah, it's not good. Speaking of people who can't catch the ball to save their lives, there's just certain people and positions in particular that just grind my gears, Corey. I don't know how to put it other than that, man. Shit, these guys just annoy the hell out of me. They just are so privileged to be playing in the NFL, having all these opportunities, and they just want to be little bitches, idiots, dumbasses, basically guys I can't
starting fights, just putting shit on social media instead of just hitting the gym.
And just being ugly, too, sometimes, you know? Like, you can't be ugly and be really annoying. And that is a person I can't stand. And that award this year, Corey, will go to Kadarius Toney, the absolute ugliest wide receiver I've seen in a long time. Recently arrested for strangling a woman. So great job there. There is your NFL career is now officially over. And you've been nothing but a disappointment since you've been in the NFL.
Did you see how wild this hair is in his mugshot? Like big old stand up.
I mean, he sucks. I hate him. I don't hate him, but I dislike this guy, Corey. And that's why I gave him this award of people I can't stand. There should be mentioned, there was a couple runner-ups. George Pickens, you really came close to winning this award, buddy. If it wasn't for Frankie's love and support for this show, you really might have won it. You suck too, man. I don't like you much. Anyway, Corey, what do you have to say about Mr. Kadarius Toney here?
This award was actually suggested by Mr. Frankie. I tried to recruit him to be a part of this today. He was busy. Turns out we don't. I know I gave a whole spiel about how we planned this out way in advance. We planned this out like 2 days ago, and I asked him like this afternoon, like, hey, are you available in like a couple hours to do this? And he was like, no, I'm an adult with a life.
Weird.
Weird.
Super weird.
But this was when I was like, okay, if you can't join, at least give us suggestions of like categories. And he suggested this one. To give the history of Mr. Toney here, I believe he got signed to the Giants to be the truth, the way, and the light. Yeah. Sucked. Got shipped off to KC, where he basically cost them their undefeated season by losing to the Lions week 1. And then they went on to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if they lost any other games that year, but he fucked over KC, cost them that undefeated season.
No, just not to mention the whole year he sucked while he was over there.
The whole year he sucked. He kind of just existed. Like, he was doing
Patrick Mahomes would like beam it right into his hands.
He was like, I don't like balls. But the one thing, he got cut and they lost. Like, Patrick Mahomes is, I think, 2 for 2 with Super Bowls with Kadarius Toney on the roster, and he's only like 1 for 2 without him. So like, Kadarius Toney might be the grounding force. Who knows? But he's also the first man to he's setting records in the world, really, because he's the first man to record a strangulation with no hands.
Wow.
He does, because he has no hands. He can't catch balls. They turn into noodles.
Yeah.
But he somehow still managed to strangle a woman. So it's
impressive. It's very impressive. I mean, not impressive in the way like you should do that. More so like it's impressive how freaking dumb you are. And that's why we can't stand you, Kadarius Toney. And we're not sorry about that one. And it was personal. I hope
it is just a fun thing that, like, if you're gonna be bad at what you do, at least be likable.
He also was in the Super Bowl. Like, he was like, when they were in the Super Bowl and he was barely a part of the team, I remember him he was talking to her like, yeah, no, I'm a top receiver in this league for sure. I'm a big threat. And she was like, dude, know where you are and what's been happening in your career up to this point.
And then they like
shut up
tried
and
to
go
say
work.
he was hurt, and he was like, "No, I'm not hurt. They're just trying to bench me," and then they cut him. It was like, dude,
Yeah,
and if we're trying to make it like we're trying to keep you on the DL, don't blow our cover. Like, be a team player here.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. He sucks, dude. Fuck that guy. Let's move on instead
Mhm.
to some time travelers.
Time travelers.
Guys who you didn't know if they were still in the league. Are they gone? Are they retired? Are they alive? We don't know.
Are they the NFC Championship? Wow.
But at one point, they were amazing. They were great, and now they're back. And when you combine 3 time travelers together, who were all drafted between 2012 and 2013, you get the Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, and Bobby Wagner combo. Shout out to our Time Traveler Award this year.
Dudes that have been in the league for over 10 years, all just like this is basically the all-star team from like 2014. Like when these dudes were all like still on their rookie contracts, just like murdering the universe. Everyone was like, those guys, those are the guys. And then they just kind of silently they never were bad. They just got quieter. And then they all just forces combined with just the actual rookie of the year to lead them into the NFC Championship. It was a lot of fun to see these 3 war horses ride out to just go fuck shit up in the playoffs.
Agreed.
It was
Oh,
it
wait,
was a
hold on. No,
magical
I
year.
don't agree with that. The first team was against the Bucks. It was horrible. All 3 of them played pivotal roles in that game. Fuck them, bastards. But yeah, they are dope, and it is cool that they, did some stuff.
Yeah. They were it's just cool to see dudes have that level of longevity, you
For
know?
sure, for sure. And
And in
also,
like
Eckler was
tough
like,
roles, like running back, linebacker, tight end, like those are guys in the trenches. It's not like a quarterback that's like, oh, if he loses some athleticism, it's still okay because they just can be a pocket passer. These are like, no, dude, you got to run through other humans.
yeah,
You got to hit the Derrick Henrys of the world and tackle them several times a game.
yeah. I know Bobby Wagner, especially. He's an absolute stud. Between him and Lonta David, that's it. That's who's the best linebacker of that class and probably the modern era for like middle linebackers at least. You could say Luke Kuechly, but he retired pretty quickly. There's a couple other 49er ones, of course. I know people are going to get excited, but Lamonte David deserves to be talked about up there with the very best for his era. Austin Eckler, I picked him up in fantasy actually. He had some big points for me. Was great receiving the ball out of the backfield, including when you put Yaya Diaby to try to cover him on 3rd down. He will win you the game, apparently. Very sad times. Zach Ertz just was doing his thing, man. Like, he was a number 1 tight end, I believe, all year over there. Solid points in fantasy as well. Would always find in the end zone. Yeah, it is fairly cool to see this, Corey.
So we're at 28 minutes. I have 2 more awards I could pitch. We won't have pitchers for these guys because I am coming up with this on the fly. But do you want to run through them?
Absolutely. Hit us.
So we had our best play of the year, most memorable. I think saddest play of the year might be a tie actually. Well, you can weigh in on this, dude. I'll give you 2 nominees. You can award our winner.
All right.
Both are going to be in the playoffs. Both are going to be from tight ends. We have the Dalton Kincaid drop from Josh Allen. You know which play I'm talking about? Where they were like 4th down and he like bottom downfield. Kincaid dropped that ball. And then we have the Mark Andrews drop in the end zone on the 2-point conversion for the Ravens.
Definitely got to go Kincaid on this one because it was losing to the Dark Empire. And that was sad.
So it was sad, but I think it was more impressive that he got there. Like it was through his hands, but my man was horizontal to the ground. I feel like the Mark Andrews was like, oh, that's a very routine catch you should make. You were wide open. The Kincaid one was very much more.
What do you want to know for the fans? Comment what you guys think. I think Dalton Kincaid because it was through the Dark Empire. It was.
I'm sadder about that one. I will say I am sadder about that one. I don't care about the.
Yeah, I was okay with the Bills winning, so I was fine with that. Whereas it was the Chiefs who won. It was gross.
No one wants the Chiefs to win.
No one wanted that.
And then so that one will leave up to the fans, but I think the consensus of Sports by Compion, we're sad about the Dalton Kincaid. That was the saddest play of the season.
It was very sad. What's your other one?
Player I'm most excited to see in the 2025 season.
Right.
Austin Genty, running back
Good
out
choice.
of somewhere with the blue
Boise
helmet.
State, baby.
I don't know. Yeah,
Boise State.
I just saw like shitloads of TikToks about this dude where he just stands there menacingly and then just like demolishes people. And the Cowboys have a pick that maybe could bring him to us if the Bears don't take him. I'm kind of excited about that. I think that's my
Jerry Jones will find a way to fuck it up. Don't get too excited.
that's the player I'm most excited about.
Love that for you. Love that for the Cowboys. They should pick him if he's available. The Bucs don't need any more running backs, but yeah, I am also excited to see how much Ashon
Genty
does out there. Should be good. Should be good. Sports Talk Company fans, we've reached the end of the show. We appreciate you sticking by us and watching these prestigious awards. Please comment if you have any, like bickerances or better nominees that we totally would have thought out deeply about and missed. Let us know. Let us know how much you like Corey's hair. And yeah, we're out of here. Sports by Compion.